That is the city you're looking at.
The market.
So this is the Atrium Hotel on the 25th floor. Looks like we're almost directly opposite some sort of casino here already.
Where's the casino? Couldn't see.
Just something down there that says Las Vegas something or other.
Oh,
I don't know
right.
whether that, I'm not saying that's a casino.
I'm sure.
It's just a club by the looks of it. Poor
Las
old Lourdes
Vegas. I
can't
think
wait
it's-
to get in the casino. Just wants to look, just wants to look, she says.
Just want to look. Yeah, I'm sure that's Las Vegas. That's the casino. There's Peter walking around in this little lake. Here we go.
We arrived eventually, hot, sweaty, but we got here and no bags were lost. I guess that's a bonus. So now we're just going to sit and wait for Lourdes's relatives to turn up, and hopefully they will, or we'll have to catch a taxi to get to the bus. So many people arriving all at once. Bus home. Bumpy. go. Well, we're a few hours into the journey and it's long and bumpy, and so this is a welcome break to stretch your legs, get something to eat and a hot cup of kapi, and then we'll continue our journey. A little while to go. I don't know where they dug it up, but you can see there we've got an Eagles video on the TV, which is quite entertaining. Anyway, onwards into the night, hopefully only a couple of hours to go. The first morning, didn't get to bed till about 3:30, and then didn't sleep very much, being strange. And then about 5 o'clock, of course, all the chickens started and the cars started up the road here. So it's been a noisy morning, and hopefully we'll get some more sleep tonight, but everything's looking good. This is a view from the front balcony or veranda that we had built. It's about 6:15 on a weekday morning. This is from Lourdes's back garden. I love this walk up here. On hot days it gets a little tiring, but I don't know, just the feel of the open space, it's great. A bit of a panorama, and looking back the way we've just walked, hills in the background and some young corn just starting to grow. There's a little bit further to go yet. And these roads are so narrow, you've just got to watch your back all the time. There's always something coming to and fro.
Iya oras na namin.
Lourdes's sister Pearl brought her partner over with her from Hong Kong, but poor old George, an American, he'd hurt his knee some months before and was still playing Mary Hole with him, so they brought in some of the local experts, and over the next few weeks he had his leg manipulated. Not an overly pleasant sight, and I'm sure more unpleasant for George.
Sobra pa siguro si Kuano
Kuya na niya.
Haan.
Anya.
Lami yung istisaga. Sobra. Masako yung dugo para mabawasan yung dugo. Sorry, maglagay na tayo.
Meanwhile, while we're off enjoying ourselves with family, Lourdes's sons and relatives had determined we were going to get a shelter out the back of the house where we could cook, so they pulled down the old carport out the front and beavered away, and this is the results of their efforts. Not bad. Just as well council approval wasn't required, I guess, but it gave somewhere for the dog to seek shelter, and it gave us somewhere to cook outside and get out of the sun. So, all in all, it worked. Well, we eventually got to go down to the city of Candon for a look-see. It's a great place to be. It's extremely busy, but it's got its good facilities like Jollibee and McDonald's, so life ain't so bad. This is the local park right next to the Civic Centre, sort of the focal point for Candon. This is the parish church, San Juan, very old, dates back to the days when the Spaniards ruled here. Our visit here was really just to film inside the church, but there happened to be a local wedding happening at the same time, so we stayed for a while for that too. We eventually moved on to go and visit Valdez's brother and family at the barangay St. Nicholas, just a little bit outside of Candon.
No, malpas mo, mabalingan, may dinumindi pa.
Iturtur mo tayo dyan. Ata nito no makarwar ka, mabalima tayo pa na.
Nawi, asawa na
De, kasi lubaglaban, tibiyagit din nga na saya. Alam na kumana siya tayo nga gaya, panagtutugaw. Ang tunad na simangpit, oray pipsi lang. Andi, mabalin na yun, kasi dyan saan. At least, at the basit pride ko.
Here they fish the local river. Not that I'd really want to eat much of the fish coming out of it, but there's also oysters that are farmed, albeit small, and we were lucky enough that they brought some to us a little later.
Baliktad yung babae, ah. Bebe!
Ano to?
Be! Diyan ko sa baba.
Ano to?
Mapalit ka pandayan. Ay, marami na magarad. Sa toilet.
Taas, mama. Ang ganoon.
Bebe! Baba dyan dito.
Ito naman minsan lang dataan nga dalusahan.
Sakay ha.
Isa malang timang dalsit ka mo pa.
And then there's always somebody visiting to sell you something.
Good morning.
In this case, fish.
What are we selling?
Yes, I'm selling fish.
Fish.
Yes. Mabasit. Ada pa asasa. 120. Basta kilo.
Ano ka mo?
Bigyan adua.
Basta kilo data?
Oh, basta kilo.
Data dua?
Yung isa lang. Angat. One ano ito. Basta yung may sisuko.
Isugaron.
One.
Kita man, Alex, na malabaga tayo. Ang tama-tanang kakayan.
Ano? Press kidya, press na press. Nalabaga ka na di matana. Press na press. Nalabaga di hasang na tanam. Ano di kwa?
This is the local river. Pretty low when we were there. Hadn't been much rain. But here, it's a good place to have a hot bath, for people to do their washing, to wash their trucks, wash their motorbikes, or generally just paddle. The first few days were spent generally walking around Lintic and getting to catch up with all the friends and relatives that we hadn't seen in a while. And that's nice. They're all very hospitable people.
Kaya na, nga magbalin mo gasolina lang ang problema na. Kung may kanto tama banta. Banta, gasolina ang taas niya. Kanto bagatin naman ang alam. Tourism. Why did you not go and fly? Fly over the rainbow.
What money?
What money? Oh my God! You? No money?
Early morning is certainly the best time of the day. Boiling the kettle outside for that very first cup of coffee, and then generally watching the world wake up. Cooking outside for breakfast was always a long process, but the food was terrific.
Ito bago.
Islam ko nga doon gagawin ng gabi. So, lahat. Walang gabi, isa pa. Wala.
While we're eating, the farmers are starting their day before it gets too hot. And some of them don't have it too easy, having to use the older implements to plough the fields. Lodez's mum's pig that we were caring for was always relatively cheerful, but unfortunately his day had come and he was to be used for a family feast. So we had the job of hog tying him and then carrying him up to his fate on the back of a motorbike, but he wasn't going to go easy.
Here's the pig. Peter will help. There you go.
And off to market, and I guess we'll be perhaps eating him tomorrow.
Iwan, han nga paspas mon.
Bye, pig. Sunday eventually came, and of course the family heads off for church, and Lourdes's son drove us down in the family tricycle, which is a very pleasant trip from a viewing aspect, if not a little sore on the backside. After about 5 or 10 minute ride, we get to the town of Banayoyo, which serves all the barangays for local produce. Only a small town, but very pleasant people and quite a pleasant place to shop. In the afternoon, Lourdes and I and Pearl and George went for a bike ride down to one of the local beaches just to have a look-see and have a drink or two. Very pleasant.
They had, what is that? 2 putchinta, 2 puto. My hand's getting much better. I don't want to get it.
Oh, they look like that.
I just don't want to, you know, I think
Face looks a lot better. That's the stuff we're sitting in.
And then we'll make that so to cover my face. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I like this. It's beautiful.
A few days later, we went back to San Esteban, to the beach down there, to celebrate Pearl's daughter's birthday. Quite a day with karaoke and drinking and great family fun. We got our drinks. And even I tried to get into the spirit of Christmas. leading up to Christmas, Lintic and the local barangay council decided to have a village dance, which Lourdes and I were fortunate enough to be invited to and participate in, and it was actually a very fun evening. It was good fun. There were all sorts of dances, including the ladies only dance, which Lourdes managed to get up and swing to. And of course the children got involved as well. And believe it or not, some of them are very, very good dancers. And some special dances. This one was for those who could dance on their own and do the craziest dance. Quite entertaining. I'm certain that some gin helped this guy get in the mood. Getting close to Christmas and prayers were needed, so the family came around and we had a great time preparing for the feast and being with the family for what was Alex and Roblin, VJ and Kira's last night in Lintic before they headed off.
Not ready. Kaya ano lang magdagdag may complimented na yung macaroni niya. Nagimas. Ano? Dapat ano?
Prayer's over. It was time for us to get something to eat. My, what a feast. Squeeze another one on. Heaven forbid how that bike holds it all, I don't know. Once the friends had gone home, the family remained, and we settled in for what turned out to be a terrific evening, and, of course, more food.
Yo, bunod ko laong dyan!
Sinilang si Cristo.
Ini-speech na ni Christmas program da.
Lakasan! Wala nakarinig eh. Ulit.
Ako loko, pangon niya na lulong.
I think.
Merry Christmas! Hooray!
And then the following morning it was time for Alex, Roblin, Kira and VJ to head off to Manila, and we'd catch up with them in a few days' time before flying to Australia. Just after Christmas, Lourdes and I took a trip down to see our field in Salvador 1.
Uy, da tayong tikwa. Diretso na tan.
Wan. Manang ah?
Nalipatam dati talon mo. Gayan ti garame.
Wan la. Thank you. Nabayag na din.
So this is on the way to Lourdes's field that's currently leased out. I'm not sure we lose it because this is almost like the allotment system, so somewhere amongst this landscape is this field. We're a little lost, so we've got to ask directions. Well, this is apparently Lourdes's field on the right-hand side here. And she tells me she's got 5 portions, so that's 5 areas divided off, and I'm not quite sure how much 5 is, but that seems to me quite a way. We'll wait for Lourdes to get to the other corner maybe. So the field goes from where that tuft of grass is, and it follows that general green ridge along, which divides the portions of land off, and you'll follow that way through, and Lourdes owns all of that right the way down to where she's standing at the far end down there. There she is at the far end of her lot. So quite big. Not growing anything on it just yet. It looks left over from the rice, but as I said, it's in the middle of, almost in the middle of nowhere, you could say. Panoramic view. There's some corn growing there, but I don't know that we're quite at the stage of saying that the corn is as high as an elephant's eye. And it's certainly not climbing way up to the sky, but oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. And this is the final clean-up and packing. We've got the bus in a couple of hours, so putting things together and finishing tidying the house and finishing the suitcase. So this is our room. Suitcase, well, just about packed now. Everyone has had their goodbyes at the other place, and now we're just rearranging the rooms here to store what we're leaving behind. We've just arrived in Manila, having come on an 8-hour bus trip down, and been picked up by Lourdes's cousins. It's still only 6 o'clock in the morning, so we've got to wait for things to open before we can do much, but they've kindly brought us back to their place in one of the suburbs of Manila to wait for the shops to open. This is a view from their little rooftop. I've just been told that that's Makati in the distance, which is the main business retail area of Manila. About an hour later and the street's a little bit more alive. This is the suburb of San Andreas. You can see there's a little bit of everything happening. That's a local store, or the street store there, sari store. Down below, the people just chat in the streets. Catching a jeepney into Makati just to have a look around and see if we can't get some souvenirs. And that evening was time for us to depart, so we headed for the airport, and there we caught up with Alex and Rovlin, Vijay and Kira. And Rovlin's mum was there to say her goodbyes. A very sad departure, but a terrific holiday.